And we're back after recovering from Toycember with a 3-day weekend, and that's not exactly correct as I'm still rather burned out, but the show must go on, and go on it shall. And now I felt like something from Botcon was appropriate since all the toys are now revealed, and I have to eat a little bit of crow because I will admit Oilmaster was an incredibly cool reveal and a lot of work to go through, so good on you, Fun Pub. You actually surprised me on that one. Shatterglass Stepper still sucks, but we are going to look at better days for Botcon when things were at their creative height, in my opinion. This is Darksyde Dinobot, this being from the 2006 lineup from the Dawn of Futures Past, the Beast Wars prequel series, which I thought was one of the more brilliant ideas they ever had. I mean, not only to reuse the vehicles, but also the Beast Wars characters in a setting that actually kind of made sense, even if some of the toys did not, and that's what we're going to explore today. As you can see, he is a, well, I was going to say backhoe, and then I was going to say steam shovel, and then I realized I don't know equipment of the construction type, so I have no idea exactly what the technical term is, and I'm sure one and only one person in the comments told me what it is. I'm positive only one person did. Positive. But anyway, yep, he is a construction vehicle. He is a digger with a gigantic digging arm. Now, of course, because we're looking at colors that are designed for his robot mode, where he looks much more like who he's supposed to be, we can tell he is not really not the most authentic of construction equipment. He's dark brown, which is a really nice shade of brown. It's an interesting, very earthy kind of brown, which I will admit goes well with kind of the dirt tones of the vehicle, but so much blue, even blue where it doesn't make sense, like on the sides of the treads. So it's a little bit weird. It's a very bright color on top of the brown. And you'll also notice some very shiny and yes, slightly swirly gold plastic. Now, this toy's been around 9 years, and I have not had any problem with it, nothing breaking. I've not heard of him having GPS issues, but there you go. It is a little bit looming, I will admit, but I have not had a problem, and I've not heard of a problem. But he looks nice for what he is. Of course, he's not highly accurate, and he comes with the same molds that Hoist did. For instance, I always thought this should have collapsed into the shoulder, because his big shoulder does absolutely nothing in vehicle mode. It's just a huge hunk. So I really thought that should have like slid in to make this part look more solid, and nope. That's just how it is. Obvious arm is obvious. And I will admit, I always liked how the back of this toy was done, with the feet folding up well and creating a rear section to hide what would otherwise be a very unsightly gap in the back of the vehicle mode. That's actually quite clever. I do like the engineering to that. Even if this new piece keeps it shaded in my lights. There you go. There you go. Best I can do. I need new lights, don't I? But anyway, yeah. So it's the Hoist mold, which is one of the good ones from Armada. Which is why I avoid it, because that's like everyone's answer to do a good Armada toy. Well, there's Hoist. Now, the problem with Hoist, though, is his gimmick didn't work. See, the gimmick on this toy is supposed to be this extending forward. Of course it is. But when it was just a mini-con attachment to make that work, you didn't really need it. Because when you attach the mini-con, it's supposed to like extend the arm out when you pushed it in. But when you took the mini-con off, it didn't reset. All the mini-con does is open a little latch that keeps it from actually getting pushed in. And you had to set that back yourself, which meant you just left it off all the time, and you didn't need the mini-con, so it was completely pointless. This is the Cybertron Remould, which I guess now is when we talk about the Cyber Key for this set. Because this is the standard Cyber Key they used for all of the Cybertron molds that year. And as you can see, it is the sideways, the Planet X key. And I really like the design of the key. I love that they worked in the golden discs deco in there. This so does not work. I mean, aside from just its Decepticon symbol shaped on the front, you still have that molded into the back no matter what. And if I remember my count right, 7 toys that year were Cybertron molds. I really think they could have just molded a Cyber Key that looks like the golden disc. I mean, it really doesn't seem like it'd be that big of a deal. One single piece, molded in gold, so it doesn't, so there's no need to paint anything except little tampos. I thought it was a lazy job. I really did. I hate to put it that way, but yeah, it was kind of lazy on their part. But it serves its purpose. It activates gimmick. So we insert into the arm, and now the shovel will actually work. And I will give it credit. I've always really liked this gimmick because so much is going on. All those fake hydraulics and everything working together and working smoothly. So that's good on you. I really like that gimmick. That's a neat little trick. And it's just all consumed into here. So, unlike most Armada toys, the gimmick does not hamper him very much. Speaking of, we'll have to go to robot mode to see if it hampers him there. And we will start by undoing these legs. And these pop out from the side, which actually do peg in. I didn't even realize they pegged in for a while. Feet fold down. A lot of little double folding going on there. The arm's disappointment because you just rotate down and rotate out. The elbow is already in... Well, nope. We'll rotate that around. And the arm... The right arm transforms by... And it's done. That's it. And then... I will form... the head. And yeah, we'll talk about that head. But first, let's give you the full shot. This is what our Botcon Dinobot looks like. Dinobot most likely spelled with a Y because he's not a dinosaur yet. Darksyde spelled with a Y. Doing like a Mortal Kombat letter switch thing going on here. But now we can definitely see why this mold was chosen. And really the mold was chosen because of the head. Let's be honest about that. Now I'll give you a close-up of the head with a little bit of the body there so you can kind of see the connection. The first thing everyone pointed out about Armada Hoist was, with a blue face, he kind of looked like Dinobot. And indeed, that head mold did look very much like Dinobot. So, rather than just remold a new head to match the character, they took the Cybertron mold, with the cyber key there, and the original Armada head, and made an amalgamation of the two molds, creating this Dinobot that has a cyber key and a somewhat accurate head, if a little bit older looking than Dinobot typically did. But it's a clever use of some mold parts, I will give them that, and it does finally bring light to, yeah, the thing everyone said. That head looked like Dinobot. Seriously did. Here it's a little bit more obvious. They're trying to get in a little bit of the dinosaur with some nice bronze paint apps along the arms to create the striping. It's a little bit closer to the Toys deco, where it's more of a chocolate brown toy and a little bit of bright striping, where Beast Wars Dinobot and the show tend to be a little bit opposite. Here you can see the blue is way too heavy. Blue is kind of a background color on the original Dinobot, so this is a little bit overwhelming. I know some of that has to do with molding, but, some of it, a lot of it is painted on, like the inside of the legs and the grill here on the chest. I really don't think that whole piece had to be blue, or could have done something else with it, I guess. I don't know. Aside from that, the connection to the original Dinobot's a little bit thin. They tried to accentuate some details here to give his legs a little bit of that look. It's not completely there. And yes, the huge arm and this tiny little thumb, as if this is supposed to be a hand of any kind. Yeah, that doesn't quite work for him. I will admit, the other hand is shockingly in line with Dinobot, because it is just kind of this big open paw with long fingers. I think that's just completely accidental to fit into this toy, but yeah, that's a little bit Dinobot as well. Whoa! He has no... Okay, good point. Okay, now since that happened, I might as well point out he has no heel spurs, but he's generally very front heavy, so that's normally not a problem, unless you're a dingus like me and you try to scoot him back a little bit too fast. So, as long as we're here, chest articulation, ball jointed neck, so good range there. Ratcheted on the shoulder, and that has a little bit of outward movement. Bicep rotation over here, and an elbow joint, as well as fingers that can open and close a little bit. So that's nice. I can't You can't get like a actual proper hand though, so that's unfortunate. You know, the elbow is going to be pointed that way, so he's not even a bicep curler because it's the top of his hand that comes up, not the bottom. So a little bit weird. You still got the nice ratchet joint over here and the same little bit of outward. And this can rotate all the way around, and as we can see, he has a little tiny thumb for his great big shovel hand, and that's about all that arm does. We do have waist rotation. We have ball jointed hips, which have a good range of motion. Very good knees. He doesn't fold those over for transformation, but they do go beyond 90 degrees. And a little bit of ankle tilt. Oh my god. One of the earlier toys to do that. This is why everyone says Hoist was a good Armada toy, and they are right. But I want to do something a little bit more interesting than just plain old Hoist, so here we're talking about a Botcon toy. I dig this figure. Like, this is the very first Botcon toy I ever got. You know, and nowadays it goes for like buku bucks, and I really wish his teammates were cheaper because I would really love the rest of this set. This I thought was as creative as Botcon ever got. You know, absolutely brilliant. You know, even like thoughtful enough to go, well, he's still a Predacon here, so we gotta load up on Predacon symbols. And yeah, just to confirm, like the arm didn't do anything different, but it still works in this mode too. Anyone have 3D out there? Well, you're wasting it because I'm not shooting this in 3D. So that is your Darksyde Dinobot. Still one of my favorite little Botcon acquisitions, and something I really hope to afford more of one day, you know, if I actually happen to win the lottery at some point. Because, oh my god, have you seen the price of that Megatron? Whew! Put a down payment on a car with that toy.